Todd, I was just introducing you and saying that I've learned all about sales funnels from you, mid last year or so when I started following your stuff, and also when I look around the internet marketing world, you seem to be the guy that everybody points to as the expert on funnels, including a lot of the big name internet marketing gurus that we would have heard of out here, even though you're not so well known. A lot of the time, it seems like you've advised them, or you've maybe built a funnel for them, or shared your expertise in some way. And I was just saying, so I've heard of Rich Sheffrin, and he's a bit of a long-time godfather in the industry, I suppose, having worked with a lot of big names. And then Agora Publishing, I know about them, and they're about I think $100 million a year business. Is anybody else that we might have heard of who you've worked with?
I mean, I've worked with almost everybody, to be honest with you, whether it was when I was running the marketing at Strategic Profits. We had the opportunity to work with, Russell Brunson and Frank Kern. We did promotions with Ryan Dice and Jeff Walker. I've had the opportunity to be a faculty member for Jeff, and I've just been blessed and fortunate to really get to work with some of the best over the years. And man, so it's all good stuff.
Cool. All right. Fantastic. So I don't know quite what you've got in terms of content for us today. I'm pretty excited to learn something new, so I look forward to that. But I will say that we should probably start off right at the beginning as to what is a marketing funnel and why would you use one? Because I certainly know when I was getting started, that was a bit of a revelation to me when I started learning about funnels and this whole structure. So hopefully you'll touch on that at some point as we kick off. But anyway, I'll hand over to you, and I'll switch over to your screen. And let's go. I'm excited for this.
Cool. So can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Looks good.
Okay, let me just see something here. Let's see if we can do it like this. Okay. So cool. And if for some reason the slides get wacky, I'm just going to leave it like this. Normally I would turn on the presentation, but actually maybe I will. Let me see. Let me do it like this, since I got two monitors. So you can still see the screen?
Yep, that looks good.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So when talking about this Hangout tonight, so Ken and I talked about delivering some great content to you guys, kind of doing a twofold Hangout, twofold training, if you will. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to take the next hour together. And the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to share with you this whole idea of engineering your marketing funnel message in a way so that it converts. Whether you're talking to prospects and this is a front-end marketing funnel that is designed to turn prospects into customers, or whether this is a back-end funnel, it's a marketing funnel, a marketing campaign, a marketing promotion designed to generate a second or third transaction. I'm going to show you a unique but extremely powerful way to construct that marketing funnel message. We're going to do that for about the next 25 to 30 minutes. And then what we're going to do for the last half hour is we're going to open it up to Q&A. And so this is your opportunity to ask me whatever question it is that you have about your marketing funnel. And I'm an open book, so I'm totally willing to answer any and every question that you throw at me. And so to start from the beginning, a marketing funnel is really nothing more than a marketing sequence, a sequence of marketing communications that ultimately leads to a sale. And the length of a marketing funnel, the number of steps in a marketing funnel, the number of stages in a marketing funnel is really dependent on the message that needs to be communicated to the prospect in order to generate the sale, in order to make that conversion happen. The more that has to be communicated to a prospect, and the longer that funnel is going to be, the more steps there are going to be, the more stages there are going to be. right? The less that needs to get communicated, the less stages, the less steps, the shorter that marketing funnel is going to be. And so tonight, it's kind of cool because tonight what we're going to be talking about is, so what do you say in your marketing funnel? In other words, what is that message? What do you need to communicate? How much do you need to communicate? How do you actually structure that message throughout your marketing funnel? And so I want to start off with one of the most misunderstood topics that that very rarely gets addressed, but yet it is at the foundation of what we do when it comes to constructing a marketing funnel. First and foremost, right, there is a vast difference between marketing and selling. Most online marketers, especially new or novice marketers, they get the two confused. They, in fact, use the word marketing and selling interchangeably. It's why oftentimes you'll hear some marketers that will refer to a marketing funnel as a marketing funnel. Sometimes they'll say it's a sales funnel, you know, and they'll kind of go back and forth. In their mind, there's no difference between selling and marketing. But the reality is that marketing and selling are two completely different activities, but they're ultimately tied to the same outcome. So selling is when you talk about you, your company, your product or service, the features, advantages, benefits of your product or service, the deliverables, the offer, you know, price point, bonuses or premiums, the risk reversal, the guarantee. Anytime you are talking about you or your product and what makes your product or service different, unique, special, exciting, etc. Anytime you introduce scarcity, you know, testimonials about your product or service, that's all selling. When you are talking about the prospect and the prospect's situation, the prospect's problem, the prospect's needs, the prospect's wants, the best solution for the prospect, meaning the best course of action, the best path for the prospect to take and why. When you are educating the prospect on their problem, their scenario, and the varying solutions and options out there, that's marketing. Now, here's the golden lesson as it relates to this. The job of marketing, as was first popularized by Peter Drucker, one of the greatest management gurus of all time, the job of marketing is to make selling superfluous, to make selling unnecessary. See, the job of marketing is to create so much desire for your product or service before you ever even introduce it to the prospect, that when it comes time to quote unquote sell to them, all you're doing is extending the opportunity for them to buy it. When you've done your job with marketing, selling is easy. You see, when marketers or online entrepreneurs, let's say, get folks on a webinar or get prospects in front of a VSL, and they hard sell them, or they feel the need to hard sell their prospects, that's just because they haven't done the job of marketing. They haven't done a good enough job marketing. They haven't done a good enough job of creating the desire for their product or service. See, when you've done your job as a marketer, the part where you segue into the introduction of your product or service and you offer it to the prospect, that's easy. It's natural, it's comfortable, and it's simply an extension of giving prospects what it is that they now want thanks to your marketing. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right? And that's the most exciting part. This is one of those topics that I'm going to cover for you, this topic that I cover at tremendous lengths with clients, with coaching students. And I'm going to do the best I can to cover it for you in the next 28 minutes with 3 slides, but this is insanely valuable. And so how do we do this, right? How do we actually create this marketing? Let me see if I could do this. I don't know if this is, no, okay, so this isn't on. I was gonna see if I could draw on the screen. Actually, let me see if I can, since I've got these 2 monitors here. Hang on one second. Okay, so Ken, you can see my screen again, correct?
I can see your slides, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let me see here. So let me first break this down for you. So let's say this is a marketing funnel. This is everything that we are going to say from beginning to end with a prospect. This is from, let's call it right here, the opt-in page, and all the way over here, let's just say this is where the sale is generated. Now, if we break down, or if we broke down this, this marketing funnel, what you would find is that, let's just call this a funnel. What you would find is that right here, there is a pivot point. There's a point in the funnel, and you're going to understand this. Believe me, in another 15 minutes, this is going to be, a light bulb is going to go off for you. So just hang with me while I give you this context. Right? So right here in the funnel, a pivot happens. Now let me explain. All of this, everything that we do up to this point, this is marketing. Everything that we do over here, this is selling. This is where you are talking about your product. This is where you are introducing the prospect to your product. So basically, this pivot point is when you say, and let me tell you a little bit about XYZ product and what it does for you. And that's when we immediately then go in and you break down your product. Now, and you make your offer, your call to action, etc. Now, what we are going to talk about is, what do you say in this section over here? What is the message that you communicate? What is the marketing message that you are going to give to prospects? Well, that is where PSEBM comes into play. And PSEBM simply stands for pre-selling education-based marketing, right? And so what I want you to understand is that we are going to educate your prospects on what it is that they need to know and believe in order for them to buy in the end. Now, it's education-based marketing. I want to break this down for a second before I show you how to do this. It's education-based marketing, meaning that we are going to teach your prospects. But number one, it's not education for education's sake. We're not simply teaching your prospects so that they think that we are an extremely knowledgeable individual. We're not educating prospects simply so that we establish our expertise or show them how much we know. It is marketing. The vehicle that we are using to do our marketing is education. And the education, and you'll understand this again in just a few minutes, the education is pre-selling. In other words, it is pre-selling because it is establishing certain beliefs in the mind of your prospects that they need to have, so that in the end, when we offer them your product or service, they have the beliefs that they need to have so that they are excited enough to buy. So it's education, right? That happens to be the vehicle we use for our marketing, that is strategically designed, right? So that it pre-sells your prospects on your product or service. Let me give you an example, and then let me give you a kind of a templated process of how this works. So I had this client who came to me, and he was selling a Facebook advertising course for pizzeria owners, right? For owners of pizzerias. And
that's very specific.
Yeah, right. Totally specific. First of all, you would think like, wow, that's, that is kind of a tough thing to sell, and kind of somewhat generic, I guess, with Facebook advertising. And he was struggling to make that work, and I helped him recreate his marketing funnel and turn the entire thing around. And let me break down for you how we used PSEBM to do that. So when it comes to pizzeria owners, there are certain things that they need to believe if they are ever going to buy a course on Facebook advertising. There are certain things that they need to believe if they are ever going to see value in learning Facebook advertising. Now, let me break down for you very quickly what some of those beliefs are that they need to have. So again, we've got the beginning of the funnel over here, going all the way over here. Over here is where we introduce the product. Over here is where we are going to generate the sale. So one of the things that pizzeria owners need to believe if they're ever going to buy a course on Facebook advertising is that, excuse me, is that, let's say, number one, is that the internet is a viable advertising medium for pizzeria owners, right? Number one, if they don't believe that the internet is a viable advertising medium for pizzeria owners, right? Or it's a viable advertising medium even for local mom and pop businesses, they're never going to invest in a Facebook advertising course. So that's one of the first beliefs that they need to have. Then they need to believe that their local prospective patrons are not only online, but that they are responding to restaurant offers online, right? That's something that they need to believe, because they might believe that, oh, I believe that this works for pizzeria owners in Manhattan or in LA, but I don't believe that it would work for me in my area, right? They need to believe that their prospective patrons are not only online and not only responding to offers and whatnot online, but they are accessible to the pizzeria owner, right? So the pizzeria owner needs to believe that he or she can target his or her local patrons with an offer for their pizzeria, right? The pizzeria owner needs to believe that paid advertising is better, faster, more lucrative than free advertising online, than free stuff like Google Maps, Google Places, search engine optimization, search engine rankings, things like that. Because again, if the pizzeria owner believes that the free stuff is better, is faster, it gets more response, it's scalable, whatever, then the likelihood of them investing in a Facebook advertising course goes way down. So they need to believe that paid advertising is better than free advertising. Then they need to believe that of all the paid advertising methods, Facebook is the best, the easiest, the quickest, right? Because if they believe that Google AdWords or Bing or Twitter advertising or LinkedIn or something like that is better than Facebook, then the likelihood of them investing in a Facebook advertising course goes down radically. Then, of course, there are things like they need to believe that it's easy enough for them to use it. They need to believe that they have the budget that they can get started with. They need to believe that they can see a positive return on investment very quickly, and so on. Now, look, I want you to understand something, right? This is all marketing. I didn't say anything at all about my client's Facebook advertising course. All of this stuff was right here is education. It's educating them in a way. It's marketing because it is pre-selling the prospect on why they should be excited about Facebook advertising, right? And we're going through each of these beliefs methodically, one at a time, right? So that we're delivering value, right? Over here, all I'm doing is educating the prospect, but we're educating them in a way that by the time they reach this point over here, by the time they get right here, they're sold on the idea of Facebook advertising, right? We bring the prospect to a point where they say, I got it. I see. I understand why I need to use Facebook advertising. That's the way that I got to go, is Facebook advertising. That's the best thing for me to do for my pizzeria. At which point we pivot and we segue into the introduction of the product. That's at the point when we say, and that's why I've put together a program called Facebook Advertising for Pizzeria Owners. And let me tell you all about it, what you get with it, and what it does for you. And then we simply go through this formula, this process for introducing the product, the features, the benefits, the advantages, the offer, and the call to action. You see, so all of this over here, all of this established the desire. All of this was marketing that led to this point that made the introduction of the product or service ultra smooth and ultra simple. And that's why the funnels that I have my clients build, that I help them with, that I build, that we build for high-end consulting clients, that's why they crush, right? That's why they don't feel like marketing. It doesn't feel like someone's being sold. It feels valuable. The marketing process itself delivers value. And so here's how you do this. You start off by thinking like a prosecutor, right? A prosecutor. If you are a prosecutor, right, you're presenting a case, right? And ultimately you are presenting a case to a jury. Let's say you're a prosecutor and you are prosecuting somebody who is on trial for murder. Well, it's your job as the prosecutor to present a rock solid case so that at the end, right, when you give your closing arguments, the jury believes that the defendant is guilty, right? And you are presenting a series of claims to the jury that are all backed up by proof, right? And so, you know, at the end, we want the jury to come to the conclusion that the defendant is guilty. And so there are things that we need to present, like, you know, he or she was there, their fingerprints were on the murder weapon, they had motive, they planned it out, they've got a shady past, right? All of these things that they need to believe. It's the establishing of these beliefs along the way that lead to the final belief, if you will, that yes, the defendant was guilty. And so the way we establish these beliefs is by making claims, backing those claims up with proof, and they establish the belief. And then we do the same for the next belief. And so this is what it looks like. You're presenting your case, right, which is your marketing funnel message. You are making a claim. You're backing that claim up with proof, which establishes the belief. In this context, right here, this is going back to the example that I gave you with my client. This is hey, you know, the internet is I'll show it to you like this. The internet is a viable advertising medium for pizzeria owners. Well, if as a marketer, that is all I say, all that is a claim, right? Somebody could say, yeah, right. Right. See, what most marketers do, and the reason why most marketers, why their funnels feel icky when somebody goes through it, and why they end up struggling with conversion, struggling to turn traffic into sales every day and new customers, excuse me, is because all they're doing is stringing together claims. They're making one claim after another claim after another claim. And in their mind, they think, well, I'm saying it, so the prospect is going to believe me, right? Well, the reality is the prospects today are more jaded than ever before. They're more skeptical. They're more cynical than ever before because they've been marketed to more than ever before. They've been lied to. They've been misled. They've been made promises that weren't fulfilled. And so, you know, you've got to back every claim up with proof. This right here, this is what makes it valuable. This is what changes their beliefs. Only when you have both of these does it lead to a new belief. And then we do the same thing for the next point. So over here, this is, let's say it like this. This one set is that first belief. This one set over here is the second belief. This, the third belief, and so on, leading all the way through until we get to the sale. And so this is how you construct your marketing message. See, where most marketers, what they do, and the reason why most marketers struggle is because they think that the whole marketing message needs to be claims and benefits. That's what they think. They think, and they conflate, they mix, they blend marketing and selling. They don't, they think that, hey, I've got somebody who's going to listen to me, and it's my job as a marketer to now tell them, what makes my product great, why they should want it, what it'll do for them, make a bunch of claims about it, back it up with a little bit of proof. Typically, the typical proof that most marketers rely on is simply just case studies or testimonials, and that's it. And the reality is that that your marketing funnel needs to appeal to both the emotional brain, the emotional aspect of the prospect psyche, as well as their intellect, as well as their logic. Right? Today, more than ever before, you've got to back it up with logical proof. They've got to logically and rationally say, I see, I understand. Getting somebody emotional with the benefits, that's the easy part, right? That's marketing 101. Every marketer knows that it's all about the prospect. It's all about the benefits. It's all about what's in it for the prospect. How is their life going to change? How is their life going to be improved? How is their problem going to be alleviated? How is their obstacle going to be overcome, etc. But if you want a marketing funnel that converts like crazy, that converts from even the coldest of traffic, that allows you to invest a heck of a lot more into traffic than what your competitors can afford, and you're still able to make your money back, you need to construct a funnel that appeals to both the logical as well as emotional side of the brain. And so hopefully that gives you guys a boost and some insight. We could take some questions. What I did, Ken, just before we jump in and take any questions, whatever questions are being submitted now, whatever questions were submitted in advance, is so number one, if for those of you that haven't gotten started with the six-figure funnel formula training program, it is it should be a no-brainer for you guys. It is, I could show you, and maybe I will, the volume of testimonials and case studies that we probably have on file. And this program is less than a year old. We probably have on file some 250 plus documented case studies and testimonials, ranging from individuals generating an extra $3,000 to $5,000 a month, all the way up to one individual who ended last year with 1.5 million. Another one, John Hutchinson, who launched a new funnel and was over six figures a month within 53 days. Another individual who within 30 days was over 100 grand. Like, I could just give you story after story, but this program is a no-brainer because it walks you step by step from A to Z, from beginning to end, with getting your first marketing funnel, your first profitable six-figure marketing funnel up and running immediately. And what I decided to do, Ken, and I think I mentioned that I was going to do this for you, was that anybody that that hasn't enrolled, anybody that's enrolled already, you're going to get this. Anybody that hasn't enrolled, I'm going to include, because I told you that I would do this, Ken, I'm going to include an additional training that isn't even for sale anywhere. I did a 3-hour boot camp. This program itself could easily sell for $197. It's called the 7 core pieces of every high converting marketing funnel, a 3-hour boot camp where I break down the elements. Like one of the core pieces is what I shared tonight, and I break it down and go into excruciating detail. You can't even buy this anywhere on our website. And so I'm going to give everybody access to this if you buy tonight. And so I know tonight for me, I'm going to say, Ken, I know that it is being
lunchtime.
yeah. So I'm going to, I guess midnight your time. So anybody who buys this by midnight your time you'll get an extra email from us with access to this program. And so if you haven't signed up yet, you can just go sixfigurefunnelformula.com/Ken, get in there. You'll get the bonus. You get instant access to everything, all 12 modules, the ultimate collection of marketing funnel cheat sheets. Like, I'm not even going to go through it all. Hopefully each and everybody had the chance to learn more about it. And so Ken, any questions?
No, a couple of things. First off, I pasted your link in the chat box. So if anybody wants it, they can just click through from there. Saves retyping it into your browser.
Cool.
Second thing, I thought I might jump in first and perhaps give the first testimonial for this product, because I bought it, as we were talking about the other day, about mid last year, I think, from memory, and it is fantastic. It's for a very affordable product, it's also the richest and most detailed over-delivering product that I've ever seen in this space, Todd. It's and for me, like I said, I was new to sales funnels, and the whole area was very confusing. If you're just listening to different marketers with giving their free tips and things like that, the whole concept was very confusing. And what this product did was basically gave me a roadmap, let me put all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together, and actually get something working. And that was fantastic. And I'm still learning new distinctions from that product today. My first funnels are only fairly basic. I know I've got a long way to go in optimizing them, and you're implementing everything that you teach in that course. So I think I'm going to be dipping into that product for another couple of years before I feel like I've really used the full limits of it.
I appreciate that, man. Let me just share real quick. I pulled this up. I just want to share some of this, right? So this was this guy, John, later on. Oops, this guy, John, later on. Let me do this real quick. Can't
now, John's another Aussie. He's from the Gold Coast.
Yeah, he's such a good dude. He's such a good dude. But this was a guy who, like I said, 53 days, another $100,000 a month funnel. Like all of these are unsolicited reviews, right? This course is just blown out the water. I couldn't stop watching the videos. Ideas are popping in my head. Just incredible. This was more. All I can say is, wow, the training absolutely rocks. These were all unsolicited pieces of feedback that came in. Todd's blowing my mind, over delivered. And it really is. It's just a rock solid, unbelievable. I believe it's an unbelievable training. More. There is, yeah, it's crazy. It's there's a ton of stuff. I won't even bore you guys. There is a 30-day money back guarantee. It's not drip fed, so you can log in, you get access to everything that the program comes with, all the modules, all the handouts, all the downloads, just everything, and you've got 30 days to put it into action. If you're not blown away at the end of 30 days with the results, or frankly, if for absolutely no reason whatsoever, if you just want your money back because you're not happy for whatever, just shoot over an email within the next 30 days and you'll get a complete refund. No questions asked, no, none of that, no nonsense. And so it really is well worth you guys jumping in there.
Cool. Okay. Hey, I just had something that I wanted to mention a minute ago when you were talking about marketing versus selling in the funnel. You prompted me to think of the days back when I was doing B2B sales, and I read a book called Spin Selling. Do you know that book, Todd?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was prompted by and for anyone who hasn't read the book or maybe isn't in that space, this was, to my knowledge, the first guy who actually went and collected real data from salespeople in the field. Up until that point, everyone was teaching sales based on their opinion and what they thought worked, and he was the first guy that literally had people with clipboards follow salespeople around recorded what they did, and then tracked that to see if they ultimately won the sale or not, so they could figure out which behaviors actually helped close sales. And one of the big things that came out of that was the idea that at the time everyone in selling was teaching objection handling. When the client would present an objection like, this product's too expensive, or it won't work for in my industry or whatever, and then all the training was about how you as a salesperson could handle it. But what the data showed was that how well you handled the objection didn't matter. If the objection came up at all, you were less likely to close the sale. And so the only way to go was to preempt the objection. Your presentation had to cover off every possible objection so that the client wouldn't have to put it forward on the table to be handled, so it could be handled before they could actually say anything. And it sounds like the marketing phase of your funnel is a little bit like that, Todd. You're trying, in a way, you're kind of preempting all of those possible missing beliefs or objections that the client could raise before you even put the product on the table.
Well, certainly, absolutely. I mean, in sales, the best time to handle an objection or overcome an objection is certainly before it ever comes up. This is more about, it's starting out at the beginning of your marketing funnel and asking yourself, what is it that these prospects need to believe? In other words, like, I don't care whether you are, if you're selling, if you're selling dog food, right? You're selling a special type of dog food, homemade dog food. Well, there are certain things that your prospect is going to need to believe if they are ever going to buy your food. For example, maybe you are selling, maybe you've created a special dog food that's all natural because through research, you discovered that there's all kinds of crazy chemicals and stuff in traditional dog food. And those chemicals lead to a shorter lifespan for dogs. Maybe you lost a dog to, a condition, right? Whatever. Well, the reality is that, so then there are things that they need to believe about those chemicals, right? First and foremost, they need to believe, they need to understand, they need to come to the belief that there are chemicals in these traditional dog food. They need to believe that there are diseases and conditions within pets that are, within dogs that are linked to those chemicals, right? Like there's a series of things that they need to believe. If they don't believe those things, if they don't believe that, let's say that there are chemicals, if they don't believe that there are conditions and diseases linked to those chemicals, then your pitch for a natural, safer dog food isn't going to convert. And so throughout the marketing funnel, you need to educate your prospect on those things that they need to believe. That's why I say we're not educating them for the sheer sake of educating them, right? We're not including little tidbits of information that have nothing to do with making the sale. We're educating them on the things that they need to understand and come to believe if they're going to buy, right? This idea today that marketing is all about just tell me what's in it for me, tell the prospect only the benefits that are in it for them. You've got to understand that your prospects have evolved. They've evolved as they've been exposed to more and more marketing messages, as they've been burned, right? The reality is that the typical prospect today is not like the typical prospect of 40 years ago, right? It's different. The internet has changed the game. The internet has changed the volume of advertisements that any given prospect is exposed to on any given day, right? Technology has radically increased the exposure to advertising and marketing messages. Because of the internet today, people hear more about scams and lies and deception much faster, in much larger quantities than they were, than they heard about 40 years ago. So today the prospect is a lot more cynical, skeptical, jaded, etc. Right, wrong, or indifferent, right? You can either accept that or you can fight it. But that's the reality of what it is that we're dealing with. And so you've got to both emotionally and logically prove your case to your prospect. That's when it becomes easy. In other words, the transition into offering your product, it becomes, your prospects become thankful that you're doing that. So it's not just about overcoming objections. Yes, you need to overcome objections as it relates to your product, or your service. Specific objections about your product or service. Is it easy? Does it produce fast results? Will it work for me? Is it appropriate for my situation? Those are all potential objections that prospects can have to your specific product or service that you need to overcome or cover when you are selling. But what I'm talking about is, what are the beliefs that they need to have so that they are sold, so to speak, and I say that with quotes, on the solution that you're going to offer them in when you get to the selling phase. And the reality is that when you know how to do it, when you know how to structure that, it's easy and it's repeatable, and it's a process that you can do over and over and over and over. And what's happening is that for a lot of marketers, for most marketers, unfortunately, they're seeing that it's becoming harder and harder to turn cold traffic from things like Facebook advertising, from Google AdWords, from really any traffic source. It's becoming harder and harder to convert that into a customer. And that's because it's because of a lot of reasons. But one of the main reasons is because they're not establishing the beliefs with prospects that those prospects need to have.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I had a question about that I wanted to ask you myself, but I'll hold it over for a minute because we've got a couple of other questions if you're ready to dive in now.
Yep.
Cool. So Nate has said, and Nate commented when you were talking about your pizzeria example, and he said that was great, but it didn't work for him. He spent about $1,300 on Facebook and made 6 sales, which was only $100 of revenue for him. Nate, sorry, wasn't clear whether that was $600 gross or whether you made $1,400 and that was $100 net. But anyway, I could see a few things about that. Did you want to drill into that a little bit and maybe share some ideas with Nate on how we can go forward from there?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. So number one, let me say this, and right, like let me just say this, and let me preface my answer by saying that, right, like I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, right? So like I approach everything that I do, and I think that this is a big part of why I have such thankfully such a great reputation, is that it's not about, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, right? That does nobody any good. And so I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. In this instance, in this context, with that question, that's a very common experience. The reality is that most marketers online today cannot afford to pay for cold traffic, not because Facebook advertising doesn't work or because Google AdWords doesn't work, but because they don't have a marketing funnel in place that's good enough to extract out from that traffic, from $1 worth of traffic, from $1 worth of Facebook advertising, at least $1 or more in sales. The reality is that the overwhelming majority of marketers are not able to put in $1 and get back out at least $1 or more in the form of new customers and sales. So first and foremost, that question or that issue is extremely common. It has nothing to do with, in 99 out of 100 cases, it has nothing to do with Facebook, the Facebook advertising platform. It has nothing to do with the actual marketplace. And in majority of cases, it has absolutely nothing to do with the product. It happens because the marketing funnel isn't designed properly. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to a message, a marketing funnel that allows you to turn enough prospects into customers so that at a bare minimum, you recoup your ad spend. If you spend $1 on traffic, you need to make back at least $1 or more in sales from the acquisition of new customers. And I'll tell you that there are 3 main big picture reasons why that happens, right? These are three reasons why the majority of marketers online are just not able to do that. And until they fix these things, they won't be able to do that. Number one is the idea, the idea behind their marketing funnel message, the thing that they are actually, the hook, if you will, that they are bringing to the marketplace. It is just not perceived as, as new, different, exciting, fresh, emotionally appealing, or logically or intellectually interesting to the prospect. In other words, it's an idea that when the prospect comes across it and they see it, they're like, this is more of the same. I've heard it before. I've seen it before. Oh yeah, more of that, right? It lacks originality in what it's saying. Forget originality of the product. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the idea behind the marketing funnel is just not, it's an idea that is not fresh, new, different, unique, interesting, emotionally appealing, etc. And so it's a marketing funnel that is built on just a bland, plain Jane, run-of-the-mill idea. That's one. The second thing, and that, that's why we spend a bunch of time talking about, let's say in the six-figure funnel formula, how you create your hook and how you communicate your hook, because it's the hook that prevents that mental opt-out when prospects come to your, let's say your opt-in page, your squeeze page, whatever. The second reason is that is exactly what we just covered tonight. Is that the marketing funnel does not create all the beliefs or establish all the beliefs in the mind of the prospect that the prospect needs to have if they are going to buy, right? And so the process starts by laying out what are the different beliefs that the prospect needs to have, and then what are the claims that we're going to make and the different proof points that we're going to use to create that rock solid string of beliefs. The third one, I'll give you two more. The third one is the offer just sucks. Meaning, the offer is just, it's a run-of-the-mill offer. It's, hey, here's my product. If you want it, pay for it. If you don't want it, don't pay for it, right? Like in essence, it's not an irresistible, over-the-top, no-brainer offer. And the fourth, just the extra bonus thing, is that the funnel is not set up properly with add-on offers, upsell offers, so that the economics can work. Meaning, like, look, like here, I'll give you an example. If there's a marketer that is selling an ebook for $20, and that's the only product that they have, and they have absolutely nothing else to offer to a customer, and they are trying to use Facebook advertising to build their business, it's never going to work. It's never going to work because of the cost of media. Meaning that even if you come up with a big idea, a rock solid, compelling, interesting, emotionally stimulating idea, and you've got the rock solid string of beliefs because you've got all the right claims and proof elements, and your conversions are through the roof, you're converting 8, 9, 10% of all prospects that come into your funnel, you're still not going to be able to make it work because economically the cost of media is too high for you to be able to make money on a $20 sale. In other words, what it's going to cost you to generate a visitor, to turn a visitor into a prospect, and then to turn a prospect into a customer, even at a high conversion rate, it's just not going to work. And that's why you need things like when you're selling a low-cost product, you need an upsell add-on offer sequence, what's called, I teach a very specific type of sequence called the transaction maximization sequence. There's a series of offers. There's a specific order at specific price points and specific types that we found to just crush it with new customers on the front end. And so hope that answers the question.
Yeah, fantastic. And Nate, I hope that helps. I know this is an issue that I get pretty often whenever we talk about Facebook advertising or Twitter or LinkedIn advertising. I always get that same thing. A number of people will say, "Oh, well, I tried that and it didn't pay off for me." And I think most of the time it's exactly what you're talking about, because I remember, Todd, before I did your course, I was much the same. I thought about online in a very piecemeal, tactical way. I think I need a Facebook ad, and now I need a sales page, and probably not much more than that, and a thank you page, and I'm done. And it was only when, doing the course that it actually got to think of that more as a whole system, thinking about lifetime customer value, thinking about having the message that, the common funnel message that was woven through the whole process from start to finish. That was all a revelation to me when I did that and started thinking of those terms. So I can understand why people today would say, I tried a Facebook ad and I sold something, but I didn't cover my costs. It's very much coming from that mindset where you just haven't got the real core concept of a marketing funnel, right?
Yeah, I mean, because it's not, like, and it stinks to, have to say it this way, but it's not Facebook. It's not that channel. It's not online marketing. It's not, in 99% of the cases, it's not the market. It's not the product, right? There are other companies, there are other entrepreneurs that are leveraging that same channel that are selling. And so it always goes back to the marketing funnel. See, like, here's the thing there, I've said this before, like, right, I've been doing this now for, I don't know, 13 years. I've been involved with direct response marketing. And I've probably seen, analyzed, worked with, broken down more online marketing funnels than possibly anybody. I would go as far as to say that. And in the years that I've been consulting and coaching entrepreneurs and small and medium-sized businesses in this area, I have never once come across a client or a student that had a traffic problem. Today, there are more traffic channels, more traffic opportunities than there's ever been. When I first started online, there were like 3 different places that you could go to tap into paid traffic. Today, there are, 33 different places that we could go to get traffic, from Twitter to LinkedIn to Plenty of Fish to Facebook to Google to Bing to banner advertising, retargeting. Like, my gosh, it's insane. But the reality is that the problem that most have is that, like what I just said, they put in $1 and they only get back 50 cents. Well, the thing that is making that exchange for them is their marketing funnel. It's the marketing funnel that determines how much money you get back, right? So you put $1 into Facebook. What determines how much you get back is the funnel. It's the funnel that is that exchange machine. It's the funnel that does the converting for you, right? That converts that $1 of traffic into $1 or $2 or $5 or $20 of sales. And so if you put $1 into Facebook or Google AdWords or Bing, whatever it may be, and you're only getting 50 cents back, you've got to look at your funnel. And it's either that you're not converting enough prospects into customers, right? So the funnel, the message is just not dialed, not there, or you are converting enough prospects into customers, but the economics need to be fixed with the right upsell or add-on offers, so that one sale, so that you increase what's called the average front-end transaction value. That means if right now, like, look, if right now you are, it costs you hypothetically $50 to generate a sale. That's just what it costs you with your conversion rate, with what you're paying for traffic. If it costs you $50 to turn a prospect into a customer, and let's say you only have one product, well, unless that product is priced at $50 or more, you're never going to make money. It costs you $50 to get a customer. If you're selling something that's $40, you're going to lose $10 every single time you generate a customer. The more customers you generate, the more money you're going to lose. So the only way to fix that is to either A, increase your conversion rate, which is, again, the funnel and the messaging, the hook, the idea, etc., and or you fix the economics by fixing the add-on or upsell sequence, so that if it costs us $50 to generate a customer, now if a customer is worth $60 to us because we added on the right upsells, the right downsells, the right add-on offers in the back, now every time we make a sale or acquire a customer, we profit $10 immediately. So it's basically like we're acquiring customers for free. We're acquiring leads for free. You can build a list big and fast because it's not costing you any money. You put $100 in and you're getting at least $100 back. I would do that all day long. Right? Imagine if you were putting $100 into Facebook traffic and you did that today and you generated enough sales so that all you did was make back $100. Well, now you've got customers that you can sell additional products to, that you can sell affiliate offers to, but you've also got leads that you can continue to market to, that will either buy your stuff or buy somebody else's stuff, and you got your 100 back. So now tomorrow, what do? We do the same thing. Right? That's what I talk about inside of the six-figure funnel formula training program about tiny budget recycling, where you don't need to start off with a lot of money. You could start off with $50 and just recycle that 50 every day, day after day after day after day. Once your funnel is set up properly using the six-figure funnel formula, and you're able to turn that 50 into 50 or more. And you've got new customers, which you're acquiring for free. There's no expense because you're investing the 50, you're getting it back. The next day, you're doing the same thing. You're using the same $50 over and over. You're acquiring leads for free. You're acquiring customers for free. And then you can scale that as big and as fast as you want. So then you go from 50 a day to 100 a day, from 100 a day to 150. And you're still continuing to generate enough money so that you're recouping your ad spend, but now you're generating more customers, more leads, and basically you build a list and a customer base at no expense.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Yeah. All right. And that let's say that strategic view of the whole thing just changes everything. Like, as I said before, it was a revelation to me when I went through and finally understood that for the first time. So, guys, I hope this is really helping you, because I wish I'd had this webinar myself when I was starting out. It took me longer to put the pieces together in my mind and figure it out than this. Now we're coming up to 1 o'clock, so I'll just mention, if you do have to get off, I'll just put a reminder again in the chat box. If you can get Todd's six-figure funnel program today before midnight and get that bonus program, the link's in the chat box. Got a couple more questions, Todd. Are you up for a couple more before we finish?
Sure, fire away.
Fantastic. Fahad has asked a question about tools, and I think I know your general philosophy on that, but I'll let you answer the question as you like. Anyway, he said, lead pages or click funnels, which one is better for building funnels? What's your thought on that, and your questions on tools in general?
Yeah, so I'll answer the question second to. Let me first just address my perspective on tools. So I'm very tool agnostic. I mean, I love tools. I think it's, it becomes, for online marketers, it's like it becomes a toy, and so I love tools. I buy a ton of stuff just because I like to stay up on what's out there, what's available, and certainly always looking to improve tools. With that being said, I'm very tool agnostic though. And what I mean by that is that it's not about the tool. So I've got clients that use lead pages. I've got clients that use, and students and folks in the MFA coaching program and the six-figure funnel formula training program that use optimized press, lead pages, ClickFunnels, InstaBuilder. I've got folks that use Aweber, Infusionsoft, MailChimp, GetResponse, Ontraport, you name it. And so the reality is that it's not about the tool at all, because you can make this work without needing a lot of tools. I think internally, I will say this: I use lead pages very little. Now, I think lead pages is cool because it is so simple, but it's more constraining than the other tools out there. So lead pages requires that you work with inside their templates, and so you can customize their templates, but you can't move stuff around and put stuff in different places. It's just not designed for that. So what ends up happening is that a lot of very similar pages get flooded into the market. And then everybody, it looks like, that page looks just like, another page that I've seen, and it starts to look like more of the same. And so understand that, that it's better to be different than it is to be better. And so I like, we use a combination of Optimize Press 2, which I think is a great tool. And now more and more we're using ClickFunnels. And I wasn't a fan of ClickFunnels when it first came out, and that's why I never publicly endorsed it. I know I've had, Russell and I are friends. I've had multiple conversations with Russell, but today I think it's great. And I do like ClickFunnels. It takes a little getting used to, but there are some awesome features in there. They've gotten the majority of bugs out, and so I do like it. And so I happen to use, like I said, a combination of Optimized Press as well as ClickFunnels. My CRM or email autoresponder of choice is Infusionsoft. I've used it for 8-9 years now and love it. And the reality is that there are things that we can do with Infusionsoft, or that you'd be able to do with Infusionsoft, that, let's say, a marketer who's only using MailChimp or GetResponse can't do. If you're using Aweber, there's a couple of additional tools that you can use. Actually, one tool that you can use that I talk about inside of the six-figure funnel formula that allows you to do some advanced stuff. But again, it's not about the tool; it's about the process.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, fantastic. Whatever lets you get the job done, I guess, is the answer.
Exactly.
Cool. So I had a question too, which I was going to ask. I know that when your preferred style for building a funnel starts usually with a squeeze page where people opt in, or certainly that's what the six-figure funnel formula suggests. And I've seen more and more there's discussion around native advertising and around pre-sell pages, and particularly the discussion that Facebook and some other traffic sources don't like squeeze pages. They really want you to be sending your traffic to content. What are your thoughts on that? Are you looking at using those sort of content-rich pre-sell pages more? And if so, how does that change your approach to building a funnel?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so I think that I'll say this: we're certainly going to be testing that strategy more and more. I think that when everybody came back from Ryan's traffic and conversion, that was kind of one of the main things that everybody was talking about. I'll say this, that you go to Facebook and you're still going to see the overwhelming majority of direct response marketers using squeeze pages. I think that may change over time as Facebook cracks down more and more on squeeze pages. For right now, you can still go and use a squeeze page. If you go and you look at, we're using squeeze pages, Frank Kern's using squeeze pages, Russell Brunson squeeze pages, and Digital Marketer is using squeeze pages. I've yet to come across an ad from some of the folks that are talking about how important native advertising is, and how you got to change over. I've yet to come across ads from some of those folks that are actually using that strategy. But so I think that there's definitely value in that. No doubt Facebook does not is not a fan of direct response marketers that go direct to a squeeze. That doesn't mean that they're not approving ads. We're still spending a boatload of money every day on Facebook advertising, going straight to various squeeze pages. But that native advertising strategy of going from an ad to a content piece that is more EBM based, meaning it's content, but it's strategically designed content that you then ultimately lead people to a squeeze from that content page, where either you're leading them to a squeeze via a contextual link or button, and or you are retargeting them. So they go to a content page about XYZ strategy and they leave. And then they go and they see a retargeting ad for that strategy on Facebook that then sends them back to a squeeze page. I think that you're going to see more of that. I think that it needs to be tested. And I think that for now, you can continue to use squeeze pages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. So in the short term, we need to watch out for a certain amount of do as I say, not as I do, perhaps from from the other experts, but we'll
I mean,
certainly keep an eye on that.
yeah, I mean, for me, I would love if somebody can send me an example of an ad that that is an ad in not in the supplement world, because the supplement arena, the supplement world, the health space, they've been using this the pre-sale page strategy, the bridge page, for many years, right? In fact, they unfortunately abused it when they created, that's when the FTC cracked down on those, what are called flogs, those fake blogs where they would create a blog that looked like it was a magazine or a news outlet, and they were sending people to those sites, as if it was pre-sale content, and then ultimately trying to generate the sale. And so that strategy has been around a long time, but I see a lot of people that talk about it, but I see most of their ads that are going to squeeze pages still. So,
okay, all right, fantastic. Thanks, Todd. I think we're coming to the end of the questions, and we've gone a little past 1, and I know it's getting late over where you are, so we might wrap up here. Cool. Thanks everyone for joining us. Once again, if you wanted to get Todd's 6-figure funnel formula program, which, as I said, I've gone through 6 months or so ago, and it is a fantastic course. The link is in the chat box. Go take a look at that before midnight tonight if you want to pick up that bonus. Todd, any final words before we wrap up?
No, just that, that take this seriously, and whether you come and you join the 6-figure funnel formula, you jump into my world, my tribe, or not. I would love it if you did. And I think that it'd be one of the most valuable decisions that you could make for yourself. But whether you do or you don't, I want to encourage you to take this seriously. And what I mean by that is like, this can be life-changing. This can truly be transformational for you if you treat this like a real business and not just a hobby, right? It's sad to me to see so many people that want it, that want the success, that want the lifestyle, that want the income and the money, and they don't take it seriously. And so if you approach this like a hobby, that's what it's going to be. If you approach it like a business, and you study the right things and you implement and you take action on what it is that you learn, trust me, you will be blown away by the results. And so I hope that I can help you do that. I hope to see you inside the 6-figure funnel formula training platform and in the group and whatnot. And so that's all for me. I appreciate you having me, Ken. I appreciate everybody being on here. I'm going to go and crash and get some sleep. And I hope that each and every one of you have a great day.
Fantastic. Thanks, Todd. Look, we really appreciate your time and having a chance to learn from someone with your amazing level of expertise in this area. And I'm so glad that you set aside some time tonight to come and spend it with us.
Cool.
All right. Have a good night. Thanks everybody for joining us. Speak to you all again soon. Bye.